Hello, everyone. Welcome to this new webinar. We're here with attorney Ruby Powers from Powers Law Group, and we're going to talk about the H-1B visa process and the opportunities and strategies in this 2025. So Ruby, she's a board-certified immigration and nationality attorney. She has been licensed since 2008, and she founded the firm in November of 2009. So Ruby, the word is yours.
Thank you, Maria. So we're talking about H-1Bs, and so the season starts this time of the year for those who have the cap, which is most people. If you're cap exempt, you can apply year-round, and so that's not a concern. But so this is a non-immigrant visa that allows U.S. employers to temporarily hire foreign workers in specialty occupations. And the concept is that there's a shortage of skilled workers in critical areas, and this is a way to provide work authorization, help the employers, help the prospective employees, and the economy and progress here in the United States. So specialty occupations typically require advanced knowledge or a degree, and common fields are in IT, engineering, healthcare, academia. So this has been very critical to the US staying competitive in the global market. And we've seen a lot of it in the news recently as to will there be changes under the Trump administration? What will those changes be? So general requirements are bachelor's degree or higher in a specific field. Generally, if the degree was not obtained in the United States, you would want to get a foreign degree evaluation to see what its equivalent would be. The job offer must be in a specialty occupation requiring the applicant's skill. And predominantly, we're talking about the H-1B for specialty occupations. The employers must demonstrate the necessity of hiring the foreign talent over available domestic workers. Now, there's generally 65,000 H-1B visas available every fiscal year and additional 20,000 for individuals with advanced U.S. degrees. So we're usually talking about a U.S. master's for the most part, but advanced degrees exemptions are universities and affiliated nonprofits and government and research organizations. So then that's what I was talking about being cap exempt, meaning that you don't have to go through this lottery system. And the lottery system is implemented if applications exceed the cap, usually when the economy is good and there's a lot of demand for foreign skilled labor, then it's met pretty quickly. And so there was this whole randomness rather than a merit-based selection. And so back a few years ago, they changed the process so that I mean, there's still the lottery system. And even if but it is it's a little bit different now. And what you do is you submit your registration request within a window of time in March. And if you're chosen, then you get to submit the rest of your application. They still will review it anew. Doesn't necessarily mean because you're chosen to submit your application that you'll get approved. But we did see high approvals during the Biden administration. So there's the labor condition application that's filed with the Department of Labor to ensure fair wages. And then basically the gist of it is that just because an employer's hiring a foreign worker, they can't pay under the fair wages. And so that this is the way that this is secured. And then the Form I-129 is submitted with USCIS. And there actually have been recent changes with that form, so that's important to note. And supporting evidence to show the applicant's qualifications, job description is critical, employer's justification, and more information about the employer. So USCIS will review it and then make decisions. Now, again, the registration process is critical for if you're a part of the CAP, and that is generally held for the first few weeks of March. And so therefore, this is the time, why we're showing the webinar here in January, to start having conversations with find your immigration attorney, have those conversations, evaluate eligibility, so that even though the registration process may appear to be relatively simple, once chosen, you want to know that you do qualify and what would be the steps following. It's also important to have discussed what would be the steps if you are not chosen in the lottery system, registration system, and what would happen if the H-1B were not approved. Now, the H-1B is granted for up to 3 years at a time within a max of 6, but you can get extensions while a green card perm process is pending in 1-year increments. But the employer must file a new petition for each renewal, ensuring the compliance. And if there's a change in position, that also would need to be changed with the H-1B. The prevailing wage requirement for the occupation and location is to prevent undercutting U.S. wages, and is very critical. It's important to note the title of the job position, the job description, the required education needed, and or languages. And so all of that is critical when we're having a consultation to evaluate eligibility, as well as what would be the prevailing wage. So this ensures compensation, fair compensation, and protects the domestic job market. Compliance requires a detailed wage analysis certification by Department of Labor. Now, it is important to note that an H-1B, once approved, would be able to, and in the United States, and during that validity period is allowed to have work authorization. They are allowed to have spouses and unmarried children under 21 be dependents, and there would be called H-4s. Now, there was a provision under certain times, and we're not sure what will continue under Trump. So I'm just mentioning that in certain circumstances, H-4 spouses could apply for work authorization if the H-1B holder has a perm or permanent residency pending. So keep that in mind as a caveat that could change as well, but it was very limited circumstances. But this would be opportunity to provide family stability and contribute to the household income. Now, we did see in prior Trump administration the increased scrutiny and rejection, as well as denial of the H-1B process. And there was a focus to actually, there's a lot of things in the news as to sort of like what's happening from his political campaigning to some of his base, to then also to some other people that he's catering to, business owners. The thing is that there's a lot of statistics that show that these supporting this visa and specialized workers helps the overall economy and doesn't hurt American workers, and it provides more opportunities for positions, businesses, the economy in general, and helps rise salaries and ability to pay all across the board. And so there is a call for more merit-based reforms rather than a lottery system. And just to give an example, there was a lot more rejections and or denials under Trump administration, but we'll continue to see what happens in this coming season. So the top industry, 65% in IT and computer-related occupations, and AI and tech is hot right now. You can even see that from the LinkedIn positions on the rise for 2025. Lots of positions in those space in that area. Top employers have been Amazon and Google, Meta, Apple, etc. So median salary was 118,000 annually, with a national median of 60,000. So often H-1B salaries exceed the prevailing wage. So overall, the goal is to attract global talent and help fill the demand that the U.S. companies are having in these positions to fill with skilled workers. And so what we wanted to be a resource to help you stay informed of what's going on. Again, we are on this webinar going out before Trump goes into office, so there could be some tweaks and updates and changes. Make sure that you have your consultation in advance of the registration period, so that you can make sure that you make a very educated decision on what your eligibility, your plan, your backup for H-1B, and if there were to be any issues. You can also find information on the USCIS website, on our website, with rubypowerslaw.com. But we want to be a resource for you. We've helped lots of different businesses and employers with their H-1B needs. So you can reach out to us at 713-589-2085. You can reach us at rubypowerslaw.com. We'll be presenting this in Spanish as well, and we are on lots of different places of social media that you can find us. And so this week was H-1B, and next week we're going to be talking about beyond boundaries, unlocking new pathways in family-based immigration, and navigating court removal and ICE check-in later in the month. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.